What do we make of this strange new whistleblower from Facebook that is all over the media and appearing right before giving congressional testimony, has apparently a whole army of advisors and media reps? Where did this person even come from? All right, let's take a look at a glimpse of her recent congressional testimony. Listen.
My name is Frances Haugen. I used to work at Facebook. I joined Facebook because I think Facebook has the potential to bring out the best in us. But I'm here today because I believe Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy.
Now, this is the most acclaimed whistleblower since Vindman. Remember Vindman, the guy who blew the whistle on Trump's phone call with the Ukraine? And these are, by the way, not real whistleblowers. These are actually people who are sort of staged to play a role. Real whistleblowers, by the way, get into trouble. You're going up against the establishment. You're blowing the whistle. Even though, this woman says, I'm doing this at great personal risk. Yeah, what's the risk? Here you are in TV shows. You're basically probably negotiating a book contract on the side. You're in 60 Minutes. What is the risk? There is no risk. But we have to look and ask an interesting question. Who is this person and what's going on here? Now, first of all, watching her testimony, it's a little reminded of Christine Blasey Ford. This is like a reincarnation of Christine Blasey Ford minus the 3-year-old voice. I mean, no, he's like, no, don't go there, don't go there. Just when I least expected it, Brett Kavanaugh jumped on me. And I said, get away from me, you pedophile. I realize it's a flawed routine, honey, because obviously no 3-year-old would know what a pedophile even is. But anyway, let's turn to this woman named Haugen, because she's a whistleblower blowing the whistle on exactly what? Well, it turns out nothing. She says things like, Instagram is really not good for the psyche of young girls. Really? Hello? We've been hearing about this for years. There's a whole psychological literature on it. Apparently, the only news is that Facebook did a survey of teen users to ask them how their actions on Facebook were having an impact on their mental health. And 1 in 5 respondents said it made them feel worse about themselves. So, big deal. I mean, I'm not denying that there's a problem here, but it's kind of the same problem that young people have long had with a culture that puts up role models, the kind of cool girls in school that demoralizes girls who are not so cool. I mean, this is a problem in our society, but there's nothing new here. That's the point. Countries like China and Iran are able to use Facebook as weapons of propaganda and to gain information about the U.S. Really? This is news? You're here to testify. We need you to come forward from Facebook to tell us this? There's nothing here. Really, what's interesting is what this Haugen woman or Haugen did not say. Did she say something like, it's really distressing that we suppressed the Hunter Biden story? No mention of that. In fact, turns out she was part of the team that censored Hunter Biden. She was part of the committee on Facebook that was in charge of kind of supervising this misinformation. And the more you listen to her, the more you realize that her goal is more suppression of information. Essentially, her messages were not censoring conservatives enough. And now you come to the key for why she's such a heroine. She's such a heroine to the left because there is a resentment in mainstream media and among the government, the deep state, over the fact that it's Facebook that gets to do the censoring. They're not against the censoring. It's kind of like you might think, where's the problem? Facebook is doing your work for you. They're throwing all these people off. They're practicing censorship. But I think part of the point of the left is they're not doing it enough. A, and B, why should they have all the fun? Why should they do the censorship when we could be the ones doing it? They get to pull out the white out this guy, white out that guy. I mean, it must be so cool. So all these media guys go, well, listen, I mean, that's a privilege that the government is giving Facebook. Why don't we have a digital oversight board in which we can sit around the table and go, knock that guy off, knock that guy off. So what you have here is, Glenn Greenwald makes a pretty good point. He goes, the only thing scarier than having huge private monopolies like Facebook and Google and Twitter decide this guy is in, that guy is out, essentially censoring legitimate debate. The only thing scarier than that is turning over that prerogative to one of the two political parties and allowing them to use it as a censorship weapon against the other political party. I mean, that's basically not only just the end of democracy, it's the end of civil liberty. And so we are reaching a point in which it is no longer out of the question to compare what's happening in America to what has been happening historically in authoritarian and perhaps even totalitarian regimes. I'm not saying we're there, but what I am saying is we're moving in that direction.